Welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be talking about color theory, because I really like colors. What is a color? There are three things that make up color, being hue, value, and saturation. Hue is where it falls on the color spectrum or the color wheel, basically what the name is, so red, orange, yellow, green, blue. There are different color wheels, first one being pigment or traditional, and the primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. There's also the CMYK, or printer, or subtractive. The primaries are cyan, magenta, and yellow, which CMYK stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and the K stands for black. And then there's the additive, or light, or RGB color wheel, where the primaries are red, green, blue. Today we'll be talking about the pigment or traditional color wheel because that's what most people are familiar with. As I said before, the primary colors are red, yellow, and blue, and the primary colors are just the colors that you can mix together to make all the other colors. And if you mix those together, you get the secondary colors, which red and blue make violet, red and yellow make orange, and blue and yellow make green. If you mix a primary color and a secondary color, then you get tertiary colors. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, red, violet. There are cool colors, neutral colors, and warm colors. So cool colors are closer to blue, think green, blue, purple. Neutral colors are kind of in the middle. Warm colors are closer to orange, think red, yellow, and orange. And these aren't concrete barriers, and they change with context, so a red with more purple would be a cooler red, and a red with more orange would be a warmer red. But the color red, a lot of people say is a warm color, but it could go either ways. Same thing with green. The next aspect of color is value. So how dark or light it is, that's basically it. So the lighter colors are called tints, the darker colors are called shades, and then in the middle we have midtones. Next we have saturation, which is how intense the color is or how far away it is from gray. So with a lower saturation, you got muted colors, they're a lot more dull. And with higher saturation, you have really bright colors. A lot of people get saturation and value mixed up. It's pretty easy, I think, because the words light and bright, we use them similarly, but a bright color has high saturation, whereas a light color has a light value. Here's a little chart that shows how they interact. So you can have lighter dull colors or lighter bright colors, or you could have darker dull colors or darker bright colors. And then here's a more simplified version of that. So we have complementary colors, which are colors opposite on the color wheel. So you have red and green, purple and yellow, and blue and orange, and then the tertiaries between that. When you mix them together, you get either gray or black or brown. But when they are next to each other, they look brighter. So for mixing colors, you want to keep undertones in mind, so back to like a cooler red or a warmer red. Let's say you want to mix an orange. So in order to do that, you mix red and yellow. But if you have a red that has an undertone of purple that's closer to this, then it's gonna mess with the color and it'll make it a bit duller than if you would use an orange red. If you use a orangish yellow, then that's closer to mixing orange and blue, which gives you gray. So you want to make sure that you have a yellow that is more of a true yellow or a greenish yellow, so that your green will be more vivid. If you're not looking for something vivid, then yeah, you make sure you could mix up the undertones. But if you're trying to get a really bright color, make sure that you are using the correct undertones. This is why a lot of painters will have multiple of the same color. So I would have a more orangish red and a more purple red, along with a more greenish blue and a more purple blue. Another thing is analogous colors, which are colors next to each other on the color wheel. These three are analogous colors. You want to keep that in mind when you're mixing, because if we want to mix a green, you want to try to get the colors that are closer to that green. If you're mixing with this color, then you're getting further away from that green on the color wheel. It's going to be different for traditional or whatever medium you're using, but just to show an example, the green. So this is with a more greenish yellow and a more greenish blue, and you get a more saturated green. Then down here, which is an orangey yellow and a purpley blue, which gives you a brown or gray color. Another thing to keep in mind is contrast versus unity. What do you want your colors to be doing? If you put colors that are very different, let's say opposites on the color wheel, or a really dark color next to a really light color, or a very dull color next to a very bright color, then you'll have contrast. If you want more unity, you're going to stick to analogous colors, colors that are similar in value or similar in saturation. So either keep it bright or keep it dull. I try in my art to have both. If you want something to stand out, it's good to have a lot of unity around it and then have that one thing in contrast. So for instance, having the setting be dark and the subject be lighter, or have green all around. Think of like berries in the forest, like have green all around and then a really bright red that will put a lot of emphasis on the subject. You may not have noticed, but those two colors are the same. As you can see, these brighter colors make this duller color look even more dull than it was with these colors. So bright colors make dull colors look more dull, light colors make dark colors look more dark, dark colors make light colors look more light, and then complementary pairs make each other look brighter. You can see that in here. You have the complementary pair, blue and orange. So this orange looks brighter next to the blues than it does on the gray background. Same thing with the others. And then the value, you can see this purple looks a lot brighter in the context of the darker purples than it does next to the gray background. And then also saturation, this pink looks a lot more pink next to the greens than the gray. The gold looks a lot more intense next to the purples than it does next to the gray. These pairs have the same colors in the middle of the circles, but because of the context around them, they perform differently. So this brown looks darker because it's next to a bright orange than when it's next to a navy blue. And then I also have these swatches over here. You can see when I change the background color, they behave differently. When I make the background green, you can see that the greens fall back and are less noticeable, and the pinks are more noticeable. When I make it blue, the browns are a lot more noticeable. When I make it purple, the yellow tones are a lot more noticeable. And then when I make it red, the greens are a lot more noticeable. Same thing with if I make it a darker color, the brighter colors pop out, or if I make it a lighter color, the darker colors pop out. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, make sure to give it a like, and if you're digging my vibes, then hit subscribe, smash the bell so you can catch me live, have a question or comment, let me know, let's start a conversation in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video.